Welcome to the 29th episode of the Grit Talk Show. And as you all know, Grit Coaches is a community of wonderful coaches from around the world. And if you're a coach, please DM us, join us. We are a bunch of really value-aligned coaches who hope to make a positive difference in people's lives. So today with us is another member of our community, Natasha Sakota from Switzerland. And Natasha has chosen a very interesting subject, something that we all have some, I think, myths and some misconceptions about. How to rewire our mind with hypnosis. So, Natasha, thank you so much for coming here. Please introduce yourself a bit before we delve deeper into hypnosis.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, really, Kadia. Thank you. And Grit Coaches. So I'm actually a South African living in Switzerland, and basically, yes, I started off in ICF doing, business coaching and NLP, and I've even done relational counseling. And my final step was hypnosis, because I just felt that I had to see at least what it was about. And so this year, last year, sorry, this year we've just begun. I studied deeply hypnosis, and I've already put it into practice. So this is what I'm going to explain a bit to you about.
Yes. So Natasha, normally people like us who don't know much about hypnosis, what we imagine is somebody, swinging the pendulum in front of our eyes, and we start going in a trance, and the other person has absolute and total control of us, and they can make us do whatever they want to. Is that true?
No, not at all. No way. A hypnotist cannot control you. So what actually happens, let me explain from the beginning. Hypnosis is a heightened state of focus, but at the same time, calmness. Okay, so you have these two states which actually kind of contradict, because when you're focused, you're concentrated. So you actually, your stress and excitement is increased. But at the same time, you're relaxed, kind of even meditative style, And this accelerates neuroplasticity, which means the ability of the brain to change and get new, let's say even programs, and I'll explain that, to rewire, to get new habits and new behavior. But if the client doesn't want that, so actually one of my first questions is, someone comes to me and says, look, I have to play a tournament, or I don't know, they have to do something. And I say, or I have to speak in public, and I have so much fear, I want to get rid of my fear. I have to say to them, how much do you want to get rid of it? And if they say to me 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, okay, 10 out of 10. That's what we're looking for, the people who want to change. Because then in hypnosis, they're there with you, they're learning for themselves. In hypnosis, you can wake up whenever you want. Okay, the pendulum you can use the pendulum to put someone in hypnosis. Actually, one gentleman called James Baird, who was in 1846, developed the proper, let's say, scientific hypnosis, used to use like a flashy thing like this, and bring it closer to your eyes. And the closer it brought it, the people would then close their eyes. I can even show you today a very simple method to get into the zone, to get into focus using hypnosis. But the person knows what's going on. He can wake up. You cannot be left in hypnosis. So if the hypnotist stops guiding you, maybe you'll fall asleep because you're so relaxed and you're enjoying, and you fall asleep, and then you'll say, oh, but where's the guy? And you wake up, and you say, oh, but where are you, Furthermore, if I could, as a hypnotist, make you do what I wanted, I would be rich. My clients would be giving me, I would say, and to pay me, you'll need to, give me a Ferrari or something. World governments, leaders would hypnotize us to do what we want. So you cannot be, it's very safe in that sense. You can wake up when you want and you don't have to do what the hypnotist tells you. But the whole point of doing hypnosis
Yes.
is to have...
And Natasha, so is it like we're sleeping with our eyes open? How is it?
Oh, no. Okay, so what happens, we're in beta now. Do you know the frequencies of the...
Yes.
Beta means...
but can you explain it a bit for our audience?
Yeah, so beta are the energy we have now, our frequency of the electricity that's going on. So when we move from beta to alpha, the frequencies slow down, and this is when we get into the sleep dreamlike
zone.
Yeah, which is getting into hypnosis. And then we
Yes.
carry on, we call it an induction, and we allow our clients to go a bit deeper into their unconscious, because we want to get to speak to our subconscious, because that rules. 95% of our actions are in the subconscious. They're automatic. And people don't even know they're doing it. We don't know. Often it just takes over. Actually, hypnosis and trance is something we do every day, when we're driving. Like suddenly you arrived. I arrived. And you don't even know which road. You can't remember the roads you've taken because it's the same road you've done every day.
Yes.
You go on autopilot.
Right. Yes.
So what we're trying to do is trying to go into, with the alpha, you then can go into theta, which is even a bit slower pace, slower frequency, and start to change those programs, that unconscious program. Okay, so maybe this sounds very technical, but it isn't really, because it sounds technical, but you're just slowing so that we bypass the critical mind, because the mind is the conscious mind is blocking you, is stopping you from standing up and speaking in public, because it starts to say, that when I was 8 years old, when I was 10, I stood in front of the class and I spelled something wrong and everybody laughed. And so the mind wants to protect you, It says, never do that again. Otherwise, everyone will laugh at you and it's so embarrassing. So now you cannot speak in public. Do you understand? We want to change that sometimes. And we want to... So what we use also is a lot of exhilarating language, positive words. And the hypnotist guides the person to achieve what they want. So I help the person first in the session to really delve deep. What do they want? And if there are limiting beliefs, we have to kind of get rid of these limiting beliefs, and it helps to understand why you got them. So sometimes you go a bit in the past and you say, I got it when I was 10. Now I know why. I have a fear of public speaking because at 10, this is what happened. But I'm not 10 anymore. I'm now 40 and I cannot even speak at my business meeting because I'm like, today I have to speak in front of 40 people. How am I going to do it?
Yes. So Natasha, I have a question. To become more aware of our limiting beliefs, for that as well, we have to go in a state of hypnosis to realize those limiting beliefs, or we can do that with our conscious mind or consciously?
It's not so easy with the conscious mind, because the conscious is very logic today, critical. And you can, because we do it in coaching, we all do it with ICF. So you definitely can debunk limiting beliefs, but sometimes people don't remember where they got it. And
where they got them from. So understanding the roots, it is sometimes better to go in that calm, focused state.
Exactly. And then you may say to me, but what happens if they then come across, because what people are scared of in hypnosis is they have anxiety or maybe a panic attack because they're scared, because we often repress our feelings. This is the problem. We have to feel our feelings, not repress, because those feelings come back later, with disease or headaches or migraines. People are scared to see them. So they leave them buried in the subconscious, but then they have an issue and they don't know why. So we can, as hypnotists, especially with my anxiety clients, people who suffer anxiety, I always give them a safe space to go to. As soon as they start to feel, there's an anchor. Do you know anchors? What anchors are?
Yes,
yes. So we anchor them to a safe space before, so that if they should maybe have some kind of issue, they can press their anchor. I even use this wonderful tool of my one friend, Nikki. It's called the Halcyon. And I even say, look, this you can breathe through, because when you go into panic, your breath, you don't breathe anymore, you know? And this tool is you take a deep breath and it slows your exhale and calms the nervous system. So if I know that my client may have this kind of going back anxiety, I also give them this anchor of safety. But I haven't had that yet. I've never experienced a client who has yet had a panic attack or something like that in hypnosis. But I want to also be clear that these things could happen. I mean, they can happen if you go back in the past. Do you understand?
Yes. So what I'm hearing is that things like, physical symptoms, which are usually, caused by anxiety or some deep lying things in our past that have been bothering us. So even migraines or, physical symptoms like that can be somebody suffering from them, and they've been to lots of doctors, neurologists, etc., etc. So hypnosis is one avenue that they can try as well.
Yes, because migraines, headaches, there's a few others, digestive issues, a lot of even high blood pressure. A lot of these are psychosomatic disease. They're actually caused by the mind. And so because the critical mind is not able to deal with it, because the critical mind, if you think of it, is only the 5% of what we're doing every day. So mindfulness, if you really want, you have to be in mindfulness the whole day to know and be aware that you're doing that. Do you understand?
Yes.
But how can we live our everyday life sitting there and being mindful? It's very hard. We need that 1 hour.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's why with hypnosis, let me also tell you, I do my session with the person. So we go and we find out the fears, and then we install. I don't leave them there. We install the new belief, the new behavior they're going to do. Okay. And I use a lot of exhilarating languages, and I say the past is forgotten, and you just erased, eradicated, eliminated.
Yes.
Because you're now older, and now you can see yourself talking in front of everybody. Your recall is amazing. You can remember everything that you prepared, and the people love listening to you. Your voice has this magnificent melody and tone that people are just attracted to what you're saying. So I go into this, and that way we put in this new program.
So that's the way you rewire the mind with hypnosis. That's amazing.
And I give them a recording that they have to listen to for 3 weeks at least, because to change a habit and a behavior, you need at least 21 days. So what I tell them in that recording, in that transformation, in that new behavior, gets put on a little recording. I use my phone voice memo, and they listen to it every day, and sometimes before they go to sleep. Because you see, when you go to sleep, you go into that alpha, theta. Works on the subconscious, and it reminds you, because otherwise you fall back into your default program. And that's why you keep falling back to bad habits.
Yes. So, Natasha, that brings me to a question, a little unrelated here. That is that, as you said before, we go to sleep. And a lot of times when we're doing nothing, like, we're just going about our day, and we just, routinely follow our routine and go to bed, go to sleep. But in the morning, when we wake up with a lot of self-doubt and with a lot of negativity and low energy, even though we've had our sleep. Now, could that be because of the previous day, that or something that happened the past day, or is it like an accumulation, or it's like a whole past that plays on in our mind when we are asleep? What goes on in our mind that sometimes we wake up with that level of negativity?
Yeah, because a lot happens when you're sleeping, and this is,
Yes.
you see neuroplasticity, what I talked about, the change needs rest. And it's in that time of rest and sleep that you're going through a lot of things. But if you have installed thoughts that are negative from the day before, from the past, and you haven't, we got to change our thoughts often, and people don't know how to change the thoughts. Because thoughts are very important. They rule a
and
lot.
they're not even mindful, I think, that especially of the negative thoughts, we're not mindful.
No, and in fact they concentrate on the negative. They say, I'm not. Usually one of the biggest problems people have is, I'm not worth it, I'm just cannot do things, and they keep saying that, and then they focus with to see, oh, you see, I didn't manage today, I'm not worth it. They confirm. That's called confirmation bias. They look for things to confirm that belief. And that's why in the morning, they're still confirming that terrible belief. So if you can listen to this recording the night before, but even during the day, you can wake up with it. And okay, in the recording, I do say now, I can show you even if you want a quick, but you let me know how we are doing with time, a quick way of going into hypnosis. But I also take you out quickly. As I count from 1 to 5, you'll be back feeling wonderful and great. From 1, you're awake, you can hear all the noises, 2, 3, 4, and you're out, finished. It can be very quick. But you can also put on that recording in the morning. And it's also very good in the morning to do physical, high five. Mel Robbins says, high five yourself in the mirror. That's also great. Yeah, I like myself, because you install a thought, I love myself, and an action which helps.
And an action with that. All right.
Yeah. So I would suggest the thing in the evening, and even just press record, but not the part where I'm saying now close your eyes and you're going in, not the induction into hypnosis. You can even forward that, and just listen to the part where I give positive suggestions. And it really builds your self-esteem, building, and then high five, and I love myself. And every time you see that you're going back to a negative thought, you have to be aware. You have to say, oh, come, no. But this takes 3 weeks. It doesn't happen overnight. That's why you need that recording to install the new program, the new rewiring of the brain.
Yes. So Natasha, tell me, what do you do? And this is a question I've recently started asking, our speakers, that because, you seem so upbeat, so you must be doing something that we'd want to do. What is it that you do in your routine that, sort of motivates you or pumps you up, or, helps you stay more positive than, waking up with the negative self-talk, as I mentioned?
That's a very interesting question. I think the best answer I can give is I also have faith, a lot of faith in, I know it's kind of the sixth spiritual maybe, but not not religious, or the universe, the energy, because I also believe a lot in this quantum physics. So sorry, now I'm getting technical again, but it's all this energy. And if you start with the energy, it just emanates. And I have faith in this. And so really, I do say, okay, universe, I know you've got my back. I know you're there for me. I love my life. I do my exercises every morning. Oh, that's another thing. Every morning I go and do exercise. And so I take the kids to school and then I go and exercise every morning. Sun, rain, snow, whatever, and this helps. So the physical energy,
release endorphins.
Release endorphins. That's it. And but I must say, studying, reading a lot. That's I do a lot of that. I'm always curious to find out, how.
Yes. Yes, and Natasha, that brings me to a great point. The other day I was discussing with a therapist, actually, and this is what she had to say. She said that, we are absorbing negative content all the time. Like, even when we're scrolling on our social media, if we're seeing maybe somebody having a great day, maybe then we have a negative thought, as in that, we are stuck here in a not so positive environment. So, we, as you said, confirmation bias, you use the word, I think.
Yes.
So we are affirming negative thoughts and repeating them in one way or the other. Either it's through social media or through any other thing, whether we are viewing it negatively or whether it is negative in itself.
Exactly.
So I think both the ways, we are absorbing negativity. And this is beautiful that, reading. One thing I think that we totally undermine and underestimate about reading is that we can absorb so much positivity through reading books that can actually help boost, our even energy levels, our knowledge, and, it feels good learning something new.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think reading, as you said, is and there are really some good, great books out there. I can even suggest one because I was very impressed by Napoleon Hill, called Think and Grow Rich.
Yes, I love that book.
But did you see that he mentions you need to do auto-suggestion? Auto-suggestion is hypnosis. You suggest to yourselves the positive things. You have to do that. You have to, and he says you have to use your imagination, see where you're going, and suggest. They are so important, your thoughts. And he says it. I was so happy. I said, if a businessman, he talks about everything, like desire and faith. He says you have to really desire what you want. You have to have faith. And he also mentions auto-suggestion. So I really found that this book, being even written in 1937, which is a long time ago, this man was able to really put together.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a really small book, but, it carries a world within it.
Yes.
Yes.
So auto-suggestion. Auto-suggestion, something I can teach all of you to do very quickly. Not today, maybe another time.
Yes. So, Natasha, thank you so much for being here and sharing all this knowledge. I think the manifestation, hypnosis, and the self-hypnosis, let's keep it a secret for our Grit Summit that's coming on the 28th and 29th of January. So those of you who are watching, we'll be sharing more details on this, and you can learn self-hypnosis with Natasha on the summit. So do join us. And thank you so much again, Natasha. So what I'm hearing is calmness, focus, auto-suggestions, and faith is the essence.
Absolutely. Oh, wonderful. You really got it to a point.
So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me so much.
Most welcome. And those of you who are watching, if you enjoyed the session and if you have any further questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye for now.
Bye-bye.